Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for sticking around. We have an exciting next session up for you. Let me just pull that up. So my name is Meg Glavy. I'm a partner manager here at ShipBob. I've been at ShipBob for 3 years, and I manage our relationships within the B2B and EDI ecosystem. I'm really excited to announce our next session is with Christina Borglund, who's the VP of Product Management at SPS Commerce, which I'm sure many of you on this call have heard of SPS Commerce. SPS Commerce and ShipBob partner to help brands meet retailers' EDI requirements so you can seamlessly get your products in store and on retailers' shelves. Our integration with SPS Commerce makes it easy for you to automate your omnichannel B2B fulfillment across our network of almost 100 plus retail partners. So with that, I will pass it over to you, Christina.
Yes, thank you so much. So excited to speak with everyone today. Like Meg mentioned, I'm going to run through supply chain trends and insights in omnichannel retail. Christina Borglund, Vice President in Product Management. I've been with SPS Commerce just over 17 years, so extremely passionate about what we help provide solutions for our supplier, retailer customers, 3PLs in the market to help solve their challenges. And also excited to talk about the trends that we're seeing. So, a little bit about what I'm going to run through today is just really briefly about SPS Commerce, and then more excitingly, want to run into some of the market trends that we've been seeing throughout the year, but specifically tied to this last week. And then also have some really interesting metrics based on what SPS Commerce was experiencing, seeing as how we really sit in the center of retailers, suppliers, and through third-party logistics companies. So wanted to share some of the trends that we're actually seeing through our own network. So a little bit about SPS Commerce. So we are the world's retail network, meaning we truly sit in the center between those, like I mentioned, in retail, which can be distribution, retail, grocery, manufacturing. We insulate the trading partners from the everyday changes and complexity of transacting documents with each other. So work with companies like ShipBob and others who are the systems of record inside of a company so that we can send and receive that data effectively. Um, we've been doing this for 20 plus years, have over 1,000 suppliers and 1 million plus connections. We truly connect any order or fulfillment model, meaning if you are working, directly with retail stores, their distribution centers, marketplaces, and suppliers that are also acting as retailers and typically managing their own sites through a Shopify or other e-commerce platform. As we focus on providing a full service EDI solution, it's much more than just the technology, like I mentioned. We also consider our full service offering inclusive of that people and process. So everything around what it takes to reach out, onboard, and work with trading partners, full on teams and expertise around the best ways to onboard and integrate into systems and connections. So we allow suppliers and retailers, third party logistics companies, as EDI is either new or evolving for them. More often than not, customers are working with multiple trading partners, again, sort of catching the complexities of the retail network that is out there. And we help sit in the center and manage that. That allows for, again, the tracking of the order fulfillment cycle. So your orders, invoices, advanced shipment notices, labeling requirements, all of which we can help standardize for you in this world that is very non-standardized in terms of the requirements. So let's jump to some of the market trends that we are seeing out there. The complexity is still just raising. It's a constant battle against what is, typically seen as unpredictable. There are, many articles out there and insights about how all of the rates are raising. So in general, the consumer is being more conscious. Their income is dropping and there's high inflation. So people are being more conscious about that as they are spending. And then we're also seeing challenges in um, companies actually being able to fulfill. So there are strikes that are happening, there are even just retaining employees. And then companies are looking for those efficiencies. We've been experiencing large company layoffs once again, also impacting just the spend that is happening. So companies are looking for how are they going to find efficiencies, and they're also out there raising their prices, which we're all experiencing. Interesting, it's happening in the market. It's also very frequent. We're always talking to our customers and just asking them about their challenges. And um, it is a shocking trend how much theft is at the forefront of when we are talking to their suppliers, that they are not only concerned about how this eats away at their margins, but they are also then having to meet new requirements from retailers around packaging. So they have to now start to think about, with the rising theme of theft, now how do I, as a supplier or a packaging company, I have to actually think about repackaging so it's harder for my product to steal. So no longer am I just packaging for my own thoughts around what is best effective for the customer or my retailer, but now I have to consider in this trend of theft. Um, so tough challenges that are out there. And when they're thinking about all of that, there are some also just industry complexities as we all experience. So, food and beverage is increasing in terms of requirements around what needs to be tracked, where it's coming from, everything from making sure that brands are being eco sustainable. As we all know, the demands around shipping. So even during these peak day periods, consumers are still going to look for who's able to ship to me for free and fastest. Another industry specific but prominent pain across all is the rising return rates. Especially in the apparel categories. People are purchasing at the same time multiple sizes in order for them to be able to see what fits best, which is then ultimately going to increase that return rate that both suppliers and retailers and logistics companies are having to deal with. How do they effectively manage all of the returns that are now happening? And again, some industry trends, obviously, on where those are happening the most, with apparel being that. Because of all of that, you really need to optimize your inventory. So you don't want to have to use up space if you don't need it, as well as you want to ensure you have inventory so that you can meet the demand when it's there. I mentioned the resource constraints, and then a lot around the omni-channel complexity. Omni-channel can sort of be that buzzword, but from this lens, it's truly around I am shipping, picking, and packing. I'm getting orders from all of those different channels. How do I make sure then that I am managing that consistent experience, not only when I, as a supplier, am shipping to a distribution center, but also shipping in order for my direct to consumer demand? So meeting the complexity there. Some of the other trends that we've been seeing is that holiday shopping season. So it really has expanded. So that's what's interesting is 50% of consumers actually plan to start their holiday shopping early. So they're shopping more in October and November, so sooner than historical. So that means suppliers, retailers, logistics companies, everybody's got to move up their planning process, that their typical busy season has now moved up a month or two. So again, all of those things that they need visibility into inventory management and making sure that they're planning for the year has now sort of moved up in the timeline. They are also what we'll see is expanding above and beyond just that Cyber Week. So, what are the things just from the retailer consumers out there? What are they? What are the top three things that customers are looking for? So, prices and promotions. We all know, like a product is typically all over the place, and if you want something specifically, you can very easily compare competitively across the board on who is selling that product. And so it's very much going to be decisions around the price point and then any specialized promotions that brands are offering where consumers are going to go to actually end up buying from. And then, of course, that product availability. When we're purchasing it, we want it now. So if it is back ordered, people aren't going to wait for that. And then, as well as convenience. So if I'm looking for it to be shipped to my home, but it's only available as pickup in store, I'm most likely going to move on to the next item. So I want to transition and talk a little bit about what did we see in our network at SPS Commerce. So again, it's super interesting as a technology company with thousands of connections transacting back and forth, we can actually see real time what is happening, which you saw in some other trend websites this year as well, of just watching those globes about where the purchase is happening, what time, and sort of watching those transaction ebb and flow. We're able to do that similar view in our own network at SPS Commerce. So wanted to share just a couple trends that we were seeing as well. So Cyber Week, even though consumers are, expanding the time in which they're shopping for the holiday season, we still did see that our Cyber Week transactions increased by 19% from last year. So that is both a customer growth as well as current customers are just transacting more. So really extreme high growth from that lens year over year. Cyber Tuesday. So interestingly enough, there's Cyber Monday historically, but as we were seeing, again, brands are responding to the fact that not everyone is going to shop at the same day, at the same time, just like how we're not all going to a store the day after Thanksgiving anymore. So we actually did see that ongoing trend that Cyber Tuesday was that next most popular day that people are still heavily shopping. And then interesting too, peak shopping hours were in the afternoon. So we saw some of the highest transaction volume as shoppers were actually multitasking during their workday and shopping in the afternoon. So just some really interesting things again about those trends there. I think want to reinforce, regardless of the challenges that the market and the consumer and the retailers are experiencing, though, we are still seeing the activity. We're still seeing trends up in terms of shopping on mobile, again, the traffic across, and then that the peak times are still around that Cyber Week, Cyber Monday, Black Friday, but that the brands and companies in the retail supply chain have to be able to react to more than just a couple days, and again, expanding above and beyond the time frame that the customers are expecting. So I want to thank you for your time today and also open it up if there's any questions.
Yes, anyone in the chat have any questions, feel free to pop them in. I will ask them and we can get them answered by Christina. Otherwise, we do have some comments from some of the folks in the chat saying that they did see the most shopping in November due to obviously Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Cyber Tuesday. And then we do have a question from Solomon. Do you think that the increase in holiday shopping is a product of economic decline and a rise in inflationary pressures? I don't know if Christina, you feel comfortable answering that, but kind of.
Yep. I mean, I will say those are absolutely the trends that are happening to our buyers out there is that inflation. But I do see, at least running through SPS Commerce, we are experiencing that increase through our channels, which can also mean that that increase is also because more and more companies out there are trying to find more efficient ways to send and receive documents.
Great. Thanks for that feedback. So thank you so much, Christina, for joining. We really appreciate your participation. Thanks for giving us a little bit more information on SPS Commerce and the breakdown in your experience with Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Folks in the chat or tuning in, if you have any questions for Christina, feel free to drop them in the chat or head over to the SPS Commerce virtual booth. I also want to give a shout out and congratulations to Lisa Martin. So as someone who was participating the most, you are the winner of the gift card. So the ShipBob team will be reaching out directly to get that to you.
Nice.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. Really appreciate it. Happy to be here. Bye-bye.